When most people think about somebody buffing out a car, usually their imagination goes to somebody in a dirty shop buffing with something that looks like this on a rotary buffer. And you got wool fur flying everywhere. It's on you, it's on the ground, and the pad's burning the paint, it's swirling the paint. Lake Country's changed all that with their new low lint wool pads. Mike Phillips, Autogeek.com, and I'm here with David Patterson. He's in charge of new product development, and Jason Brennan, who's a technical consultant for Lake Country. And you guys, you've got these new pads, and I grew up with the old style. I know what a mess they are and how dangerous they can be in the wrong hands. What's going on with these pads? What's the deal with them?
Well, this is our new low lint. It's a knitted style wool instead of your traditional tufted. These style pads are made with yarn that's twisted into wool that's twisted into a yarn and then tufted into the pad.
Yeah, it looks like something you could crochet a sweater out of almost.
Yeah, so all the fibers are twisted together, and that's what causes its ability to lint or leave particles all over. So with our new style, we use a knitted backing, so the sewing process is a little bit different. It's not an actual yarn, it's a thin, fine lamb's wool type product. And it's matted to a foam interface so that it's usable on DA polishers, and it gives you that user-friendly feel on any type of machine.
Wow, that is really some fine stitching going on there. And yeah, the foam backings, that's fairly firm too, it's a little dense.
Yeah, it's a little bit more firm and dense so that on all types of machines that it will work. So it'll work on something like a Flex 34-1 or the new Millet, or it will work on something that has a longer throw, like a Griot's Boss, the XFE 15 or a RUPES 21, because that firmer interface helps keep the pad together and not move so much.
And I noticed it's got a short pile length or short fiber length.
Yeah, the difference between the low lint fibers versus our traditional lamb's wool or knitted lamb's wool product is that it's a 1/4 of an inch shorter. So this material is about 1/2 of an inch long. And it's also modified in the density and a couple of their specifications to it. So if you would compare it to our standard pre-washed lamb's wool type pad, that's going to be a little bit more dense and typically geared more towards a rotary machine.
You know, it's very soft and plush, and I got to tell you, you know what this reminds me of is, remember back in the day you could get these seat covers that were made of lamb's wool.
Yeah, yeah.
They were soft and supposed to like air condition you.
Yeah, they keep it cool.
Flow through them, but they're that soft and they're safe for paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unlike a microfiber where microfiber creates drag and creates heat from the polyester, a wool actually doesn't do that. But like you've said multiple times, fiber is a type of abrasive. It has individual barbs on the ends of those wool, and that's what helps it cut along with the abrasive.
Okay. Now, I noticed you have some different sizes here, and we have 3 different styles of tools here.
Yeah.
We have rotary. This is a mini free spinning orbital. This is a gear driven orbital. So I mean, this kind of encompasses the tools that are on the market today. And these pads can be used with all different types of tools.
Yeah, and that was the idea behind developing it, which is partially why the low lint wool is in its own line. So it's not a heavy cutting pad for a specific pad line, because really when we were engineering it, it was made to use on any type of machine regardless, and offer a heavy cutting option for that.
Now, Jason, you have a background in boat detailing. What's your observations about pads like these coming from, you know, you traditionally would use the big wool pad on a rotary?
Yeah, to be honest, I had 20 years in with one of the largest boat manufacturers in the world, and with what you had mentioned here, this was what I was used to. And I'll be honest, after 20 years of this, I'd never want to see a wool pad again in my life.
Yeah.
For the reasons you mentioned, making a mess, flying all over the place. These low lint pads have totally changed my mind. This is my go-to pad for quick correction. And again, I do like it because it's versatile on either a rotary if you want to do a quick cut, and also on the DA where it's not going to mat down. A lot of people like to go to the microfiber for heavy cut. This is a very nice alternative to get cut on a DA machine. Allows you to work a little bit faster because they clean out quicker and easier. So quick correction, quick cleanup, faster to use is some of the added benefits of this. This one here particularly, you'll see, has a black interface as opposed to our blue. That will be on the rotary machine only in the blue.
Got it.
For a little bit better user control on a rotary machine.
And you say fast clean out. Do you typically blow these out with compressed air or a brush?
You can blow them out. I'm kind of an old school guy. I like to run like a soft plastic tool. I know a lot of guys in the old school would run a screwdriver. I certainly wouldn't do that like you would on this pad here.
Yeah, it keeps your screwdriver shiny, you know?
Right. But you can blow them out, and I also like to just run a blunt plastic tool through them, and I'm back to working.
Gotcha.
Very quick and easy to use, clean out.
I've actually used wrenches. Whatever's lying around, you grab it and you throw it against there and bring the speed up, and fur goes a-flying, and all the residue goes peeling off. And but a lot of guys do use a screwdriver, and what happens then is there's a natural sweet spot when you're cleaning a pad on rotary, and you'll tend to dig out a trough there.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's not the best way to clean a pad.
And you will, again, with the low lint this year, when you do try to clean out, you will continue to throw lint all over the place. These, once you do your first clean out, relatively lint free.
Okay, now here's a question. Would you primarily use this for the compounding step, the polishing step, machine waxing? Is it have a best place in the process, or is it diverse enough you could use it for anything?
Well, I think it's typically used as a cutting pad, a medium to heavy cutting pad, depending on the type of tool they're using. But what we found is, obviously in the marine industry, it works very, very well on gel coat. So you can significantly reduce or eliminate oxidation. You can do a lot of the heavy cutting steps you would typically only use a rotary with, and achieve that with a DA tool pretty easily. Which is nice.
Yeah, in case you've never buffed out a boat, what happens with a lot of boats are gel coat, and that's a polyester resin with the pigment in it, so they're not painted. It's a thick material. It's very hard, and when it oxidizes, the oxidation isn't on the surface, it goes in because it's porous. And so the only way to remove all that oxidation is to use the caveman technique, at least in the old days, of a heavy cutting wool pad, a coarse compound, a big heavy rotary buffer, and then just push, am I right? Pushing for hours on the side of a boat. And what makes buffing out a boat hard is it isn't like a flat surface, it actually tapers away from you. So now you're trying to push hard as the buffer is going away at an angle. So there's nothing easy about detailing a boat. But one thing I also know is when it comes to the polishing side, boats don't like soft foam pads. Now, a lot of guys that go to detail a boat, they take their car mentality with them, and that's normal. And so they'll cut with something aggressive, then they'll switch over to a nice soft foam pad like you would on car paint, and then they'll see that finish go from something that was shiny after they removed the oxidation to now it looks mottled and dull. And so you're telling me that this is a pad that'll replace the wool pad for boat detailing. It'll remove the oxidation and leave that nice high gloss, high shine finish?
Yeah, absolutely. On a lot of gel coat finishes, this pad will actually leave a better finish than most foam pads.
I believe it, yeah.
So we've had really good success with that. And if you were to compare it, obviously apples and oranges to your traditional clear coat, but this pad is to gel coat what a microfiber pad is to clear coat for your vehicles. So obviously microfiber is very popular right now for cars, and this pad has become very popular for automotive clear coat as well for the heavy cutting application. But this is like a staple when it comes to marine detailing, just because of its fast cutting but good finishing, the same characteristics that made a microfiber pad so popular in the car world.
And because typically boats are large, you want to reduce the steps if you can. So if you can cut and finish with the same pad, you're saving a whole step. And not only is that a lot of buffing as you go around a boat, there's also a lot of wiping. You know, every time you buff something on, someone's got to wipe it off. Well, I can't wait to try it out on a boat, but I don't have a boat here today. I do have this black SUV. Let's go give this a try.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
David, before you start buffing, can you use that pad right out of the bag, or is there anything you should do first?
Well, you can definitely use it right out of the bag, but what I would suggest doing is washing this pad prior to using it for two main reasons. One, because it will slightly affect the wool, and when using it on a long throw DA, like a 21 millimeter or 15 millimeter, it will reduce the amount of matting, and it'll help keep your pad cleaner and more effective. And then for two, washing it prior to use will remove any of the minor lint that might be present still in the pad, where it becomes essentially a no lint pad at that point.
Understand. But you could use it right out of the bag.
Correct.
Okay. Now, before you start buffing, is there any special instructions that would maximize the performance of the pad as far as priming goes? Can you just put some product on it and go, or should you actually work some product in?
Well, I think that you should probably work a little bit of product in, just because there are a lot of fibers in the pad. So ideally, you know, you don't have to smear it all over the surface and overload the pad, but it is wise to put a number of dots around the pad and just rub them in so that you have an evenly coated abrasive surface.
Okay, well, show us how.
Yeah, let's do it. So, unlike a foam pad where we'll put 2 to 4 dots, I'm going to go a little bit heavier because we got a lot of material to cover.
And this is a clean, dry pad. There's nothing on there at all right now.
Correct, yep.
And usually pads like this, even foam pads, they will tend to absorb some of the product that you're priming with when you're starting out.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll take the little bit that I did prime and kind of rub it into the fibers. Obviously, after your first pass, the pad's going to be well primed and the abrasive's going to be pretty even. But because we're rubbing it in there, just to make sure it's good, we'll put a couple extra dots on quick.
I always call this my working product. You know why? It's the product I'm going to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. that would make sense, right?
Before you get started, let's throw a
tape
tape line down here, and that way we can see the before and after difference.
All right.
Then just pick a side and have at it. Looks like you've done that before.
Once or twice.
I got a dirty car out there in the driveway if you want some more practice.
Peel this off.
Yeah, go ahead and peel off. I got a... Well, you definitely removed all the swirls and scratches, and that was only a few passes too.
Yeah.
So using it, in this case we had a compound, but the fibers actually are going to help with that too, as far as material removal.
Yeah, all the abrasive will stick to those fibers.
Yeah, and it looked like it was real smooth too. You know, some of the microfiber pads that have been introduced over the years are very flat and hard, and they tend to be kind of hoppy, like bouncing around as you're buffing. That was real smooth.
Yeah, the little longer pile helps it give a little bit more friendly user feel.
I would think that foam interface pad would help too.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's a little more cushion there. It helps it conform to the curves. For more information about the Lake Country low lint wool pads, visit Autogeek.com. For more videos like these and how-tos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, Jason, I already know how to do this, so how about you show me and David how you would tackle the rest of the hood and the car if you want.
Sure, I see a few more spots we can address.
I see a whole car.